They told her to move. Not asked, told. In the first-class cabin of a flight she paid for, Dr. Camille Jordan, a middle-aged black woman dressed simply, was asked to give up her seat for a more deserving passenger. No explanation, no apology, just entitlement wrapped in fake smiles. The cabin watched, some snickering, some avoiding eye contact. Camille stood up without a word. But what no one knew was, in the next 30 minutes, this woman, whom they thought was nobody, would quietly ignite a fire that would shake the entire aviation industry. All with 3 silent messages. The cabin was quiet, cloaked in the soft hum of the engines and the gentle rustle of luxury newspapers. First class on a cross-country flight from JFK to Washington, D.C. was supposed to be an oasis of calm, untouched by the chaos of the terminal or the turbulence of life outside. Dr. Camille Jordan, dressed in a charcoal gray knit dress and flats, was already seated, seat 1A, gazing out the window. Her carry-on was tucked neatly under the seat. Her phone was off. Her mind was focused on the keynote she would deliver the next morning on aviation ethics reform. A shadow loomed. A figure stepped into her line of vision. "Excuse me, ma'am," said a voice with tight politeness and clipped professionalism. "I'm afraid we'll need to relocate you to another seat." Camille turned slowly, lifting her gaze to meet the stewardess standing above her, young, blonde, polished. The woman's name tag read Donna. Her smile didn't quite reach her eyes. "There must be a mistake," Camille replied calmly, not moving. "This is seat 1A. That's what's on my ticket." Donna's smile tightened. "Yes, but we've had a change. One of our priority guests just boarded. He's a platinum-tier client, and we reserve these seats for them." Camille didn't respond right away. She simply blinked, her face composed. Around her, heads turned discreetly, or rather, pretended not to. The cabin's occupants, mostly older, mostly white, grew oddly still. She lowered her voice, almost kindly. "So, you're asking me to move because someone with more miles showed up?" Donna paused, then gave a half laugh. "We're asking for your cooperation, ma'am. I'm sure you understand." Of course, Camille understood. She understood exactly what was happening. The man who followed behind the stewardess wasn't trying to hide his impatience. Tall, early 30s, pale skin, navy blue suit. He glanced briefly at Camille, then looked past her as if she didn't exist. No nod, no acknowledgement, just the assumption of access. Power. "Excuse me," Donna urged again. "If you'll just grab your things, we've arranged a comfortable seat in the back row of first. Still premium class, of course." Still premium. Still dignified. Just not here. Camille inhaled through her nose, then exhaled. She didn't argue, didn't stand to make a scene. She unbuckled her belt slowly, reached beneath her seat, and retrieved her bag. The man behind Donna looked vaguely irritated at the delay. She stood, stepped aside, and watched as he slipped into seat 1A like he'd owned it since birth. Donna beamed at him. "Enjoy your flight, Mr. Winslow." Camille walked in silence down the aisle, not looking left or right. She passed rows of eyes that tried not to meet hers, but someone was watching. A teenage boy, maybe 17, seated in 3C, held his phone low. His thumb tapped the record button without thinking. She took her new seat at the end of first, just before economy began. Not a bad seat, but not seat 1A, and not what she had paid for. She sat upright, legs crossed, posture perfect. Her fingers laced in her lap, eyes closed. Breathe in, breathe out. The boy in 3C posted the short clip to his private social media, captioned it, "They really just kicked a black woman out of 1A for that dude?" His post had barely 400 followers, but the algorithm had other plans. Back in 1A, Mr. Winslow was sipping his complimentary champagne. Donna offered him a hot towel with the kind of warmth she hadn't shown Camille. The entire exchange was over in less than 3 minutes. Except it wasn't over at all. Camille didn't speak to anyone, didn't call the attendant, didn't fume or sigh or whisper to herself in frustration. She simply sat there, breathing, her eyes half-lidded as if this were all just a meditation exercise. But inside, something was very much awake. She thought about the hundreds of first-class flights she had taken in her life, most without incident, some with minor slights. A few, like this one, with major ones. She always remembered. She remembered every microaggression, every smile that wasn't real, every time someone assumed she didn't belong where she was. Her phone vibrated, quiet, insistent. She ignored it. 3 rows ahead, the teenage boy's phone buzzed too. A friend had seen the clip. Then 2, then 20, then 300. By the time the flight attendants were going over safety procedures, the post had crossed into the hands of someone with a platform. A local activist, then a journalist, then a famous actress. Camille remained still. She had built empires in silence. A younger Camille might have said something, might have demanded justice in the moment, filed a complaint, made noise. But this Camille? She was different. She didn't just want justice. She wanted change. And sometimes, change required a longer game. The stewardess brought her a drink. Still polite, still empty. Camille declined. Behind her, voices whispered. 2 older women were murmuring about that situation up front. A businessman chuckled quietly about entitled customers. They didn't know who she was. None of them did. Yet, the hum of the engines was the only sound Camille let into her thoughts. Her eyes remained fixed on the back of the seat ahead, her hands still in her lap, her posture straight but relaxed. The insult had passed. The slight had been made. The world, it seemed, had moved on. But not everyone had. Beside her, in seat 4B, an elderly woman with soft white curls and a delicate silk scarf turned slowly to face her. Camille caught the movement in her periphery but didn't shift. "I'm sorry, dear," the woman said gently. Her voice was a little hoarse, the kind that trembled with age but rang with conviction. "That was unacceptable. You don't need me to tell you that, of course, but I need to say it." Camille turned slightly, enough to meet her eyes, blue, bright, and sad. "I've been flying first class for decades," the woman continued. "And I've never seen someone moved like that. Not like this, not when they were already seated. That wasn't policy. That was prejudice, plain and simple." Camille gave her the faintest nod. "Thank you." "I marched in Selma in '65, the woman said, almost absently, as though she were reminding herself. "Saw a man beaten in Montgomery for just sitting where he was told he couldn't. I never thought I'd see this again. Not up here, not in 2025. Camille blinked. Something sharp and unspoken passed between them. The woman leaned in, voice lower. "My name's Ruth, and I know you probably want to forget this flight ever happened. But someone has to remember. Someone has to bear witness." Before Camille could respond, Ruth slowly reached into her handbag and pulled out a small phone. She navigated to her camera app with shaky fingers, then paused. "Do you mind?" she asked. Camille hesitated, then shook her head. "Do what you need to do." Ruth smiled grimly and tapped play. She hadn't captured the beginning of the incident, but she had caught enough. The stewardess's condescension, the man's entitlement, the subtle dismissal, Camille's silence, her graceful exit. The phone trembled slightly in Ruth's hand, but the camera was steady enough. She stopped recording, glanced over the footage, then nodded to herself. "This needs to be seen." Camille turned to her. "May I ask why this matters so much to you?" Ruth's eyes watered, but she didn't cry. "Because I thought we'd fix this. I thought marching, protesting, voting, it meant something. But I see now it was just the beginning, and people like you shouldn't have to carry this weight alone. Not again." Then Ruth did something unexpected. She opened her live stream app. Camille's eyes widened, just a little. "You're going live?" Ruth winked. "I may be almost 80, but I still know how to shake the table." She titled the stream. They told her to move. I watched it happen. And she hit Go live. The stream opened to a few dozen viewers, Ruth's grandchildren likely, and a few old activist friends. But within minutes, the number began to tick upward. Dozens turned to hundreds. Ruth spoke softly to the camera. I just witnessed a woman, a paying customer, being removed from her assigned seat because someone decided she didn't belong there, because a white man decided he did. Camille shifted slightly, her name still unspoken, her identity still cloaked. She allowed it. Ruth continued. This is not the America I fought for, not the country I marched for. We cannot keep letting this happen. The comments began flooding in. Where is this? What airline? This is disgusting. The momentum grew fast. One viewer clipped the key segment and reposted it with a caption, "White elder stands up for black woman kicked out of first class." Another added, "This isn't just a story, it's a pattern." Meanwhile, the boy from 3C, whose post had already gained traction, realized his footage aligned perfectly with Ruth's. He commented under her live stream, "I got video from before, DM me." Ruth's following swelled into the thousands. Camille sat beside her, still quiet, still unmoved, but her eyes flickered, just once, toward the screen. The view count climbed. Ruth ended the stream after 10 minutes, her hands trembling slightly. "I'm sorry if I made you uncomfortable," she said, putting her phone away. "But I couldn't just sit here." Camille's voice was low. "You didn't make me uncomfortable. You reminded me that some battles aren't just mine to fight." They sat in silence for a moment. Then Ruth added, "I don't know who you are, and I don't need to, but you have presence, dear. The kind that makes people uncomfortable, even before they know why." Camille smiled, barely. "I've heard that before." A flight attendant passed by but didn't stop. Perhaps she hadn't seen the stream yet. Perhaps she had. Camille glanced at the time. 17 minutes since Ruth went live. Already, hashtags were forming. She was moved. This is not America. Camille unseen. And yet, Camille had still not spoken. Not publicly. Not to the camera. She didn't need to. Not yet. But the spark had been lit, and the fire was coming. By the time the plane leveled out at cruising altitude, the atmosphere inside the cabin had grown noticeably denser. Something hung in the air. Not turbulence, not technical malfunction, but something far more human. Tension, discomfort, a sense of something unraveling beneath the surface. Camille remained still, serene, her eyes closed as if meditating, but her ears were listening. 3 rows ahead, a whisper. "She's trending," a flight attendant muttered to another, her voice sharp, tinged with panic. Donna, the head of the crew, reappeared in the aisle. Her stride was no longer graceful. It was purposeful, stiff. She clutched a tablet in her hand. The screen lit up with open browser tabs. Twitter, Reddit, a few live streams. Her jaw tightened as she scrolled. She recognized herself in at least 3 of the clips. Her face, her voice, her smirk. She wasn't just part of the story. She was the villain. Her composure slipped for the first time. She leaned toward the young attendant, Maria, who had been pouring drinks. "I want to know who took that video. Find out where they're seated." Maria blinked. "Donna, it's kind of everywhere now. Hundreds of people have posted it. You can't—" "I said find them," Donna hissed, loud enough for a nearby passenger to glance up. "We have policies against unauthorized recording. If necessary, we'll escalate." Maria hesitated. "Escalate?" Donna took a step back and tapped on her earpiece. "This is Donna Myers, lead crew for Flight 7289. I need to request an immediate escalation protocol. Possible unauthorized recording and breach of cabin privacy. I want to initiate standby procedures for emergency landing, pending confirmation." The line was silent for a second. Then a male voice responded, "Donna, that's a serious escalation. What's the exact threat?" "Reputational breach," Donna snapped. "Multiple passengers recording and spreading misinformation. We can't have this going viral. Our guest in 1A is highly connected. He won't tolerate this." Camille heard every word. She opened her eyes slowly, gazing toward the curtains separating first from the galley where Donna stood, now visibly agitated. Ruth leaned over, whispering, "She's trying to land the plane?" Camille shook her head once. "She's trying to control the narrative." Meanwhile, the boy in 3C, Liam, noticed Donna staring directly at him. Her glare was unmistakable, predatory. He sank into his seat, slid his phone deeper under his thigh. He'd already backed up his footage to the cloud, posted it twice. It didn't matter if they took his phone now. The story was out. Donna moved up the aisle, stopping at his row. "Young man," she said, voice sugary, "may I speak with you privately regarding your device?" He looked at her, heart thumping. "Did I do something wrong?" "Just a quick check," she said, "for safety compliance." Ruth, watching from her row, stood up. "I'll come too," she said loudly. Donna turned, eyes narrowing. "Ma'am, this is a matter for the passenger only." "No, I believe it's a matter for everyone now," Ruth said, "especially since you're abusing your authority to intimidate a minor. I may be old, but I've dealt with bigger bullies than you." Several passengers turned. Donna flushed crimson. She pivoted and stormed back toward the front. Camille's phone buzzed in her lap, a vibration only she could feel. She unlocked the screen slowly, reading the encrypted message. "Protocol Delta 7 standing by. One word from you, we ground the entire crew." She stared at the screen. Another buzz. "Donna contacting TSA to request forced offloading. She's trying to flip this." Camille locked her phone again, set it gently on her thigh. Still, she didn't move. Not yet. Donna returned to the front galley, her headset crackling.